Hello everyone and welcome to another match preview on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. Liverpool are finally back in the Champions League and what an exciting campaign we have ahead of us. The competition now has a new league style format, so more games will be played and the level of opposition will be a lot higher, especially for the Reds who probably have the toughest run of fixtures in the whole competition. But just as a refresher, this is a reminder of what the new format entails. So it'll be 36 teams that will be participating in a league format in the first phase, and it will be replacing the group stage format that we're used to over the years. Each team will be playing against 8 different oppositions. Teams that finish between 1 to 8 will qualify directly into the next round. Teams ranking 9 to 24 will face each other in a knockout playoff round to join the 8 teams in the last 16. Teams finishing between 25th to 36 are eliminated from all competitions and knockout phases. All the ties will be played with home and away fixtures leading up to the grand final, which is obviously a one-leg affair. So in terms of knockout stages, it's pretty much the same format, but yes, no group stages, and it will be 4 matches played at home and then the other 4 matches played away. So in terms of Liverpool, this is the run of fixtures or teams that will be facing in the first phase of the tournament. And here we are. So we've got Real Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen, Lille, Bologna, Red Bull Leipzig, AC Milan, PSV, and Girona. So for me, most definitely the toughest run of fixtures in the whole competition. Forget English teams, I think in general we've got the tough matches, tough teams, especially so early on in the stage. You know, Real Madrid, current champions. You've got Bayer Leverkusen, who just had a fantastic season under Xabi Alonso last year. Lille, strong team there as well. Bologna had a fantastic campaign in Serie A. Your Red Bull Leipzig, who obviously are strong contenders in the Bundesliga. AC Milan, team of heritage and even quality as well. Looking at their squad today, I feel like they've still got a good team. PSV, current Eredivisie champions, and Girona, who are an up-and-coming Spanish team. So it's not going to be easy, to say the least. But at the same time, I'm excited to see Liverpool face these types of teams in the Champions League. That's what Champions League is all about. You want to face all these big teams. So I'm all for it, to be honest with you. And in terms of our open fixture, it will be against AC Milan in the San Siro, an iconic stadium. So I'm excited for this fixture. Also, Liverpool has some history with AC Milan, of course. Most notably, the Champions League final in 2005 at Istanbul. And then 2 years later, they beat us at the Athens Olympic Stadium to claim their 7th Champions League title. So today, we'll analyze our opponents in terms of their recent form and see how they are doing in Serie A. AC Milan have only played 4 games so far. They've won 1 game, drew twice, and lost once. In fact, the game that they've won just happened over the weekend as they beat Venezia 4-0. Venezia are the team that, for me, probably have one of the best kits in world football. So Milan have not had the best of starts under their new manager, Paolo Fonseca, but having reviewed their squad, for me, they have a lot of talented players, with the likes of the new signing, Tammy Abraham, Rafael Leao, Pulisic, Fofana, who I really wanted at LFC, by the way, Loftus-Cheek, who we all know from his Chelsea days, and Reinders, who had a fantastic Euros for the Netherlands, and that's just to name a few. So for me, in terms of the team, it's only a matter of time before they start gelling, and hopefully everything clicks for them. But hopefully it doesn't happen in this fixture. Unfortunately, from a Liverpool point of view, we won't be reunited with our cult hero, Divock Origi, as he's struggling to stake a claim in the first team squad. In fact, he's actually been demoted to the club's reserve team, who actually play their football in the Italian third division. So, very harsh treatment there for the Belgium striker. But obviously, we're not, too aware of the situation there. But yeah, it's a shame that he's not able to be selected in this fixture. In terms of Liverpool's recent form, 3 wins in the opening 3 games in the Premier League campaign, and things were looking rosy, to say the least. But we got brought down from Cloud 9 over the weekend as we lost to Forest, which obviously ended 1-0. It's certainly a performance to forget. No one really showed up, and it was a disappointing effort from the team altogether, especially from the substitutes. For me, none of them really showed that they deserved to start this game, but we'll discuss that very shortly. But hopefully, we can put that defeat behind us and focus on this exciting Champions League encounter against AC Milan. So what we'll do now is we'll present the team news. So for AC Milan, they currently have Beneka, Florenzi, and Sportiello unavailable for this fixture. Malek Fial, who recently picked up an ankle injury but could have a slim chance of being selected in the squad. Calabria is fit and ready to be selected, even though he missed the Venezia game over the weekend. From Liverpool's point of view, Chiesa is expected to be in the squad. He's been training rigorously at the Access Training Centre, but Armstrong has confirmed that he will unlikely be starting this game, but hopefully he's able to make his debut in this fixture. And unfortunately, Harvey Elliott is out for a couple of months with a foot injury. So other than that, I've not heard anything else with any other injury concerns. So hopefully the rest of the team are fit and ready to be selected for this fixture. Now, in terms of predicted lineups, we'll start with the home team. Normally, they have been playing a 4-3-3 under Paulo Fonseca. So let's just start from there. So in goal, you've got Mainam, who's probably one of the best goalkeepers in world football, in my opinion. Really, really good shot stopper. In terms of the back 4, it's going to be Theo Hernandez. If I can spell his name correctly, there we go. He's right there. Still surprised he's at AC Milan. That's no disrespect to him. I thought he would have maybe moved on because he was really highly sought after in the summer and last year as well. But he still remains to be there. He's a bit of a cult hero there as well, to be fair. And then you've got Emerson, plays on the right side. We all know, guys, Emerson Royale. Can you believe it? An AC Milan player. There's a reason why I didn't mention him in the list of good players earlier on. And in terms of the back 4, a very good signing in Pavlovic, a player that we were linked with actually last summer, not this year, last summer. A left-footed centre back. That's the profile we've been looking for, and he was available for not too much either. So he's made the move to San Siro from Red Bull Salzburg. So yeah, unfortunate there, but let's see how he does in this fixture. In terms of his partner, I'm going to go to Mori. I think he will line up. Obviously, being an English defender, I feel like they might select him just due to his know-how of how to play against a sort of English opposition. I know we have a Dutch coach and different nationalities in our team, but obviously the way we play is high intensity and we're more of a physical team as well, naturally because of the league that we're from. And so that will definitely play a part in this selection. So I think Tomori will start in this fixture. In the middle of the park, it will be Yusuf Fofana, a name I'm sure you guys have heard me mention quite a few times over the summer. He was the player I really wanted us to sign, but wasn't to be. And then on his right side will be Reinders, who I mentioned earlier on had a fantastic competition in the Euros for the Netherlands. So he looks a promising player. Box to box, technically really good as well. Good passing range, good dribbler. So yeah, he'll be one to look out for in this fixture. And then you've got Loftus-Cheek as well. So that'll be the midfield three up top. Can't look elsewhere other than Rafael Leao, fantastic player in my opinion. And on the right side, you've got Pulisic. Didn't have the best of times in the Premier League, but still very highly regarded in the States and still has a good reputation within Europe. And up top will be a flip-over coin between Morata and Abraham. I think Abraham will get the nod, and I believe he will start in this fixture. So that is my predicted lineup for Milan. And if you're looking at the players that I've presented, for me, you've got a good crop of players there in terms of the back four. Theo Hernandez, for me, very, very good left back. Maybe a player we could consider in the future because left back is an area that will require strengthening at some point. But, another discussion for another day. But in terms of his ability on the ball, really good. Bombs down that left flank effortlessly. From attacking point of view, he can definitely contribute. So he's definitely one to keep quiet because if he's in that attacking third, could cause a bit of issues. No offense, not really concerned about Emerson Royale. Tomori Pavlovic will be a solid combination, so we'll have to be smart in terms of how we play up against those two defenders. Pavlovic is a very physical defender, so we just make sure that we're not getting into sort of physical battles. It's more so being intelligent enough to make runs around those defenders rather than going toe-to-toe. So that would be the key in terms of opening up the Milan defense. In terms of the midfield three, Fofana, traditionally a number 6, but can be box-to-box. But in this team, I think he will be shine up shop. He scored actually over the weekend, so he still has that in his locker. So I'm interested to see him because I've been watching him for his previous club, Monaco. Really wanted at the club, so hopefully we don't watch this game and start going crazy. That why did we not sign him? You've heard it here first. I've been stating his name for quite a few months now. So FSG didn't think he was the right profile. So it is what it is. Ryan as well, box to box, as I mentioned, Loftus-Cheek. Same situation there. For me, it's just more of his consistency in terms of his overall play, but still a talented player nonetheless. Up top, Tammy Abraham, obviously tall in sort of build, but very quick on and off the ball, plays on the shoulder, so got to make sure we keep him quiet. And Rafael Leao, very direct, kind of like Luis Diaz, who we have in our team as well, but in terms of his finishing ability, he's really top-notch. So, yeah, Trent might have to be on defensive duty more so than not, in my opinion, so he will need to be wary of his runs because one-on-one, Rafael Leao probably one of the best in the world, in my opinion. And then you got Pulisic, who tends to cut in field a bit more, obviously being right-footed. So he'll be a tricky customer, but I feel like we can keep him at bay. For me, the danger men are Leao, Abraham, and I'll probably say Theo Hernandez. Those are the 3 players I really feel like will cause Liverpool havoc. So we need to make sure we're compact as a team and we're managing these players and not giving them any space or opportunity to influence the team. So that's my predicted lineup for AC Milan. What we'll do now is we'll switch up and predict the team for Liverpool. So in terms of Liverpool, 4-2-3-1, that is our default formation under Ancelotti. Now in terms of selection, this will definitely be up for debate. So if you're watching live, drop a comment. Let me know. Even if you're watching replay, let me know in the comments what your lineup would be. Let's go. So for me, Alisson starts in goal. I wouldn't rotate so early in the Champions League campaign. I'm going for Trent. I think some people might have gone for Conor Bradley. I was disappointed with his cameo the other day. I feel like it was his defensive sort of duties that led to that goal that obviously ended up being the winner. I didn't think he was marking Hudson-Odoi very tightly in that moment. It's very predictable in terms of what he was going to do. So I feel like I should have defended better. And I feel like having Alexander-Arnold on the pitch, it gives us that sort of different dimension in terms of passing range. So I think he definitely needs to starting this fixture. On the other side, I might actually give this game to Tsimikas. I think he might be more suited in terms of his overall play. He's more energetic. Robertson looked really tired over the weekend, so I feel like he might need a bit of a breather. And then Robertson can play in the next fixture, which is against Bournemouth this weekend. So I'm going to go for Tsimikas in this one. And for me, Van Dijk remains in the back line. And for me, Konate remains in the team as well. So if I could spell his name properly. So no, I can't. There we go. So that's my back line there. In terms of the double pivot, I'm sticking with Gravenberch. I think his skill set, his skill set will definitely be utilized in this fixture. I feel like he will actually have a great impact in the team against an Italian position where, defensively they're going to be really sound. And I just feel like he would definitely have the upper hand in that midfield, in my opinion. So hopefully that's the case. Alongside him, normally it would be McAllister, but I think Arsenal might rotate the team a little bit. I'm actually going for Endo. I think Endo might start in this one. It could be Curtis Jones as well, but because Curtis Jones has just returned from an injury, I think Endo is in a better position to start this fixture. So I'd go for a double pivot of Endo and Gravenberch. I feel like they'll be a bit more defense-minded. They will probably cover ground for the fullbacks. That's why I've gone for Tsimikas and Trent. I feel like they're going to have a vital role in terms of our output going forward. And also from a more defensive point of view, they're able to go up against their two number 8s, which are Reinders and Loftus-Cheek. So I feel like they can keep them at bay. So I think these two as a combination will work. I feel like it might be worth utilising the squad a little bit more and gives Endo a start in this fixture. Salah, of course, starts on the right wing. Szoboszlai will start number 10. If Elliott was fit, I would have gone for Elliott in this game. I think he was suited this game a bit more. But I've gone for Szoboszlai. Interesting comments to hear from Arne Slot with regards to Szoboszlai, saying that last year he only scored 3 goals. For an attacking midfielder, he should be scoring more goals. And some fans are, bit of shade there for Szoboszlai. I find it quite refreshing that Arne Slot's so open and says it how it is. There's no sort of BS around it. He's right. As you all guys know, I'm a big fan of Szoboszlai, but he's been very gun-shy this season. He's had so many opportunities where he's created half here, but he's just refused to shot, or he's overplayed a little bit, and it's ended up going to a player that's probably not in a good position, or the pass has kind of killed the momentum from an attacking point of view. So for me, of course, he definitely needs to improve his game in terms of his output, because from a technical point of view, he's a fantastic striker of the ball. And for me, if he gets that right, if he finds that balance, he'll be able to score a lot of goals for Liverpool. But he needs to start producing the goods right now, because his end product is questionable. Even his final pass isn't quite there yet. So he just needs to find that bit of magic that basically got him a move to Liverpool in the end, because he was so good at Red Bull Leipzig. Even at Salzburg, we've probably been scouting him for a number of years. So for me, I have a lot of faith in the player. I believe he will come good, but he needs to start showing a little bit more, especially playing in a more advanced role now as a number 10. He's playing his favourite role. There shouldn't really be any excuses from him now. So for me, he needs to focus on his game and be brave when you're on the ball. Take that opportunity where you've created that half yard, take a long shot. Why not? Because there's no point of always trying to play that perfect goal that, Liverpool tend to do quite a lot. You have to kind of trouble the opposition with those long strikes, because for the goalkeeper, it will be unexpected to make a save in those moments. So for me, he needs to add that area of his game in terms of using his weapon, which is those long shots. So yeah, he's got a lot of improvements to do. But likewise, a lot of players in the squad are in the same boat. So he's not just the only attacking player that, is not playing to the good standard. Now, this is the one I'm debating about in terms of up front and left wing. From a form point of view, Diaz has been probably one of our best attackers so far. Does he start or does he not start? Do you know, originally I didn't have him as a starter, but I'm going to switch up and have him a starter because I think it would be silly not to start him now, thinking of it now, because Gakpo had no impact whatsoever over the weekend. I just feel like maybe Diaz gets an hour and then Gakpo comes on later on. Or Gakpo plays this weekend rather than this fixture, in my opinion, because I feel like with it being AC Milan, being at San Siro, um, these are the games that you want your top players to play, in my opinion. So for me, Diaz starts this one. Up top is interesting because if Diaz wasn't in good form, then you can kind of make a case for Gakpo to be given a try. Up front, Jota for me hasn't been great in the last 2 or 3 games. So I feel like this might be the game to give him a bit of a rest. Now, the big question is, who plays up top? Is it Darwin Núñez or is it Gakpo? For me personally, I think Gakpo is ahead of Darwin Núñez in that sort of pecking order for the strikers. But I think Núñez might suit this game, just the way he plays, and I feel like defensively they will probably not be familiar with playing with a striker. Well, they are. They'll probably play against strikers like Núñez, but I think he will cause them chaos and havoc. So I feel like that would be a good game for Núñez to start, to trouble the defense. If it doesn't work, then we bring on Gakpo. We can bring on Jota later on. So for me, I'm going for Darwin Núñez start, not because he deserves it. I'm not throwing shade there. I think his skill set will suit this fixture, and I feel like he can have an impact. But he's not starting this fixture based on merit. It's more so that Jota, I think, needs a bit of a breather, and then Núñez is perfectly suited for this fixture. Then in comparison to Bournemouth, I'll probably reinstate Jota for the Premier League fixture this weekend. So that is my predicted lineup, guys. So drop a comment and let me know what you guys think. In terms of my score prediction, maybe it's because of the result we had over the weekend. I'm not as confident as I probably was 2 weeks ago, but we won those 3 games in a row. So I'm going for a draw, guys, unfortunately. I'm going for a 1-1 draw, and I believe the goal scorers will be Tammy Abraham for AC Milan, and for Liverpool, it will be Mohamed Salah. So drop a comment. Let me know what you think the score will be in this fixture. I'm just going to go through the comments now. So let's have a look. So Richard, big up Richard. As always, he says, hi, Ozzy. Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Welcome to you, Richard. I'm good. Thank you. Hope you are doing well. He said, AC Milan and Liverpool tomorrow. We need to learn from our loss against Forest. We need to take our chances on goal, be quicker with passing, and be direct on goal. Thanks. No, I totally agree with you there, Richard. We certainly need to do better. It can't get any worse. Let's be honest with you. But yes, we need to start playing the way we started the season, playing with more precision in terms of our passing, because we were really slow against Forest, very monotone, very one speed. I mean, never really hit the gears during that fixture. So that was very disappointing for me. And yes, improve the passing, but also be a bit more direct in goal. And as I gave that feedback regarding OZWRLD, that is one area we all need to do as a team, as in the Liverpool team, because Diaz and Salah, they cut in field and they need to take chances in certain occasions as well, not to try and always play that perfect goal, because I feel like it can be overdone too much. So sometimes when you do it, you've lost possession, or that final ball has just been taken away from you, and then the opposition had the ball. So no, a lot of improvements need to be done, that's for sure. And Richard's his second comment says, also this is predicted lineup. So he's gone for Alisson, Trent, Van Dijk, Gomez to start. Okay, that's an interesting one. With Robertson on the left, and he's gone for Gravenberch and McAllister. And he's gone for Szoboszlai, Diaz, Núñez, and Salah. It's going to be a tough at San Siro and hostile. Yes, it definitely will be hostile. And we need to focus, take our chances, and work as a team. That's why I've gone for Diaz in the beginning, because I feel like this would have been a fixture where we could have rotated him. But it's AC Milan. It's like an iconic stadium. you want to play your best players in this fixture. So yeah, I definitely agree. The environment will be hostile. So yeah, I'm sure the players are used to playing in those kind of settings. But yes, they will definitely need to step up and live up to the bill. Which also says, we have returned to the UEFA Champions League after season out. We must ensure that our participation is meaningful, winning ways, and also adapt to new structure and setup. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of the new format, but that's probably because I don't like these kind of changes that have been implemented in the football world. So we'll see. Maybe with the games coming out, we're playing bigger teams, so it might entertain us a bit more, and it might be more exciting going forward. But from a standpoint, yeah, it's more like a Super League, which they had a big issue about when they were trying to form it those 2-3 years ago. So yeah, the irony in terms of what the new format is currently right now. Daz asks, do you start Nunez tomorrow? Pick up Daz as always. Yes, I'm going to give him the nod. Not on merit. I just feel like he'll cause havoc to the AC Milan defense. And if he doesn't, then he just gets substituted at halftime or in the opening sort of hour mark, because he hasn't been good this season. He's been really poor. I would have actually gone for Gakpo instead. But for me, Gakpo has not done that great either. He's not had any impact whatsoever. So because of his raw speed, I think Nunez might suit this fixture more so than Cody Gakpo. But that's just my thoughts there. And then that's the same as Saturday, but drop Jota, start Nunez, drop Diaz, start Cody. So you've gone for Cody on left. That was what I was originally thinking before I did the show. But yeah, I changed my mind. I feel like Diaz needs to start this fixture, and I'd rather have Cody Gakpo starting against Bournemouth over the weekend. So Diaz ends up getting that rest. It's just that he doesn't get that rest tomorrow rather than later in the week. So that would be my selection. So you've just mentioned your team lineup there. You've gone for Alisson, Trent, Ibu, Van Dijk, Costa, Simicast. So yeah, you've got the same selection there in terms of the back line. You've gone for Maka and Ryan, so I'm probably the only one with Endo right now. Dominic Szoboszlai, Mohamed Salah, Jota, and Nunez. So you're sticking with Jota. So it looks like you've got Nunez on the left wing. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Nunez on the left side. I know he goes on runs. He starts making runs there when he's playing up top. He seems to favour that left channel. But as an out left winger, he's not my cup of tea. I just don't feel like he doesn't have the intelligence to play that role. On the counter attack, he's fantastic because of his speed. But I feel like in build-up play, he can go a bit missing, or he can sort of kill the move when you're trying to start an attack from that left-hand side. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Sideline Football Show, big up Ozzy, big up yourself. Sideline Football Show, hope you're doing well. And then Anford Uncle Rog says, in the chat, bro, big up Anford Uncle Roz. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming on. That's a big up Rods. And then that's a big up to Sideline Football Show. And then returning the comment there, big up Daz. Sideline Football Show says, yeah, Anna said he will play Chiesa for some minutes only. Yeah, I don't expect him to start. Yeah, it does make sense to kind of give him his debut against an Italian opposition. But yeah, it would have been nice for him to start, but I just think it's probably too soon to do that right now. So yeah, it does make sense to have him on the bench. Does not sound like Anna will start here, so I was hoping to see him start. Yeah, same. I would have liked to have seen him start, but we've got to be patient. He's just he didn't have much of a preseason with his previous club either, so he needs to hit the ground running. I know he's been training very well in the last couple of weeks. He wasn't part of the Italian national team due to informing them that he wants to focus on his fitness. So fair play to him for doing that. So he'll be ready to go in the coming weeks, and he will definitely be needed, in my opinion, with Harvey Elliott out for the foreseeable future. And then Steve said, let's go, Chan. Let's go, indeed. And then that's a big up to Steve. Steve says, my 11 versus Milan. He's gone for Alisson, Becker, Bradley, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Simca. So, yeah, you've really rotated your team there. Chiesa, Jones, Endo, Morton, Nunez, Gakpo. Wow. 4-5-1 formation. yeah, Steve's gone for the full rotated squad there. It'll be interesting to see if any of these players are involved. I definitely have Morton on the bench to be fair. I think it'd be good to embed him in the team at some stage. He is a squad member, so he needs to get minutes under his belt. Jones, for me, looked a bit leggy in the other fixtures, so he's still, I feel like, lacking a bit of fitness. Um, Bradley, I wasn't impressed in terms of his cameo the other day, so I would have gone for Bradley. I just feel like there's too many changes there, especially against AC Milan, opening game of the Champions League. Maybe I'm thinking with more emotion more than anything else, but it remains to be seen. Let's see who starts tomorrow on the slot. And then Sideline Football Show says, I want to see Nunes and Diaz starting. So yeah, so that's the two players that I've selected. So we're interested to see how they play together. But it's not more so for me that, they combine and see how they do. For me, it's more so Diaz has been in good form, so he should remain in the team. And it's against Milan, so I feel like he deserves to play at an iconic stadium. Darwin Nunes, like I said earlier on, he's coming in there to replace Jota, who's been a bit off form right now, so he probably needs a bit of a breather. I feel like he could cause one or two problems against Milan, so that's why I've selected him. Thumbs up from Steve to Daz. And then Sideline Football Show says, as long as Arne rotates, I think he will rotate. I just don't think it'll be a heavy rotation. Not so early in the Champions League anyway. The previous format, you'd play your best team in the opening sort of 4 fixtures, and then if you've gained enough points, then you start rotating a little bit more. This is more of a league style, so it's going to be where you try and field the best team possible. It's a big opposition in terms of AC Milan, so yeah, for me, you've got to try and come up with your best team. And I've done a few tweaks here, so I've brought in Simicast, Endo, and Darwin Nunes. So 3 changes, so nothing wholesale with that, but I feel like little tweaks here and there is fine. And then I think Bournemouth, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more changes into that starting lineup, but we'll see until then. And then Anfield, Uncle Rods says, good lineup, bro. Big up yourself, Uncle Anfield Rods. Daz has gone for a 2-0 victory to the Reds. And he's gone for Mo. Sorry, I didn't see Mo there. Mo scoring 1 goal and Nunes scoring 1. Fair enough. Steve says, are they going to play the same 11 versus Forest? On paper, the first 11 should have done a job against Forest there. It's just that we just weren't there. The international football break, for me, I'm not making excuses. I feel like I played a part because we just looked just tired. Just didn't really have any spark in terms of our output. So yeah, I'm hoping it switches up. God, if it's the same performance, it's going to be a long afternoon. But yeah, we'll see. Silent Football just says I'll be happy with 1-1. Yeah, that's the prediction I've gone for. Steve's asking Ozzy, why did the poor performance versus first come? I'm not making excuses, but as I just mentioned, for me, it was the long layoff of the international break. We went full flow, 3 games in a row, clean sheet as well. And that was the worst time for us to, for the squad to kind of go set in their own ways and play for their national teams and return and have only 1 or 2 training sessions. I feel like it really shifted our momentum, and unfortunately, we just couldn't hit the ground running. So these things happen. Man City won against Brentford, but they just about got the win, and then Arsenal got a 1-0 win over Spurs. So it's not like any of the top teams were in full flow. They just managed to get the job done. I feel like we were not clinical. We had a lot of chances in the first half, so we should have done better. Jota's chance with the pass from McAllister outside, so that should have been a goal. McAllister had ahead of himself. That should have been a goal. So we had good chances for me to break that deadlock and then take the game from there on. But unfortunately, it just never happened. And when they got the goal as well, I just didn't see the hunger to get that equalizer. I feel like the squad seemed quite depleted, and the substitutes that came on, they were pretty awful. They had 0 impact whatsoever. yeah, so unfortunately that is what happened, and hopefully, we do better in this fixture. Can't get any worse, as I mentioned. So let's see. Um, Steve says won't be hostile at Milan. They are struggling to sell tickets. Are they really? Wow. Maybe we should have looked into getting a flight to Milan, watch the game, because that would have been definitely one for the record books for me, because it's a stadium that I really want to visit. But yeah, strange that they're not able to sell their tickets. Big Liverpool coming into town, they should have done that. Nick says, "Hey, big up Nick. Hope you're doing well." Dazza says, "I'll put Jota on the left, Ozzy, Darwin, Nunes up top." Yeah, I think tactically that does make sense. For me, Jota just looks a bit tired right now, so I think he just needs to be rested. But if Jota was to start, yes, he has to play on the left rather than Nunes on the left, because for me that doesn't work. So I think that's in reference to your line. That makes more sense. I think that's more of a natural fit. So yeah, I do like Jota on the left. I feel like he's more direct there. When he plays as a striker, I just don't feel like he has the awareness sometimes, because with strikers, when you're sort of holding up the ball, you literally need to have eyes behind your back, and you need to have that awareness, because when you get the ball, you don't have a lot of time to control it and move on. Sometimes when the ball comes, you've got to make that turn to get away from the player, or you lay off someone and then make the move forward. So it's not just about scoring goals. You've got to have an intelligent sort of play in terms of your hold-up play, and also laying off the passes to players around you and creating space and making runs. So you've got to pass and move all the time. If you remain static, it becomes very predictable for the opposition to cut the sort of supply from the wings or from the middle of the park. So for me, it's an area he really needs to improve. He has improved his link-up play, to be fair. That was something I questioned about a year ago. So that is area of his game that I feel like he has improved. But now it's more about consistency from an all-round play rather than just getting the goals. Because when he's getting the goals, I feel like we probably won't complain about it. But if the goals are coming, then you're analysing his performance as well. Because strikers do go through patches where they don't hit the back of the net, but what you contribute to the team as well, that is the key. So that's what differentiates the top strikers to just normal strikers. So for me, has a lot of improvement to do. Steve says first defeat was all down to Arne. Hopefully he learns from his mistakes. I do question a couple of his tactics, if I'm being honest. So one that I mentioned on my match reaction was the fact that he played Trent Alexander-Arnold as a number 10 and then drops Szoboszlai. I know Szoboszlai didn't really have an effect in terms of the final third with his passing or his inactivity for shooting at that stage, but he was pressing from the front, so he was giving us a different energy up top. Once they switched, I just feel like the balance wasn't right, and then Trent was losing the ball far too much for my liking, so it just kind of disrupted the overall flow of the team. So no, in terms of tactical approach, I think that was an error. But in terms of the game itself, I just don't feel like the players turned up. It's all good and well blaming the coach. I just don't feel like the players justified their selection, because these were the same players that played previously in a couple of weeks ago. So why weren't they able to produce a free-flowing performance? Obviously, I'm involved in the factors of the international break. I do feel like he played a part. But yeah, it's a learning curve for him as well, because we will be playing against teams that will play low block on us all day long. They started literally the first second of the game playing a low block. So, it's not going to be easy to just break teams just because we're Liverpool Football Club. We have to work on it. It's an area of our sort of style of play that, if we aren't able to break them down, we've got to have a plan B. We've got to have a plan C. We've got to have different solutions. And tactically, I feel like Arne Slot has done these sort of tweaks here and there. I just feel like putting Trent as a number 10 was the wrong call. But that's just my opinion on that one. Steven says Nunes has to play out wide. Stops him from being offside, playing up front. He's a bozo, be offside 247. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you, Steve. He's offside on the left wing as well. You can definitely be offside on the left wing, because it'll be where whoever's playing left side number 8, they'll make that through ball, and then he's just ahead of the fullback, so he can still be offside. So for me, he doesn't have the intelligence. It's like it's such a basic trait to have, but because in his head I think he's very chaotic. Like he just wants to get on the ball and just make things happen. But you have to have a level of patience in your play. You've got to hold your run, and once that ball comes through, then you go free flow, and then you try and get on the end of it and cause as much havoc as you want. He just doesn't have that in his lock, unfortunately. So playing him out wide, I still think he'll be offside. So I don't know if that provides him with any solutions there. Milan have only won one game all season. We don't beat them with my 11, then we are finished. Yeah, I wouldn't say we're finished. I think that's a bit strong. But yes, it's not the strongest team right now. They just got the first victory against Venezia over the weekend. So obviously they're confident now in terms of they've got one win on the board. But I do feel like they've got talented players in terms of the lineup, but also in terms of the squad. So just to name a few players. So I mentioned Origi. Unfortunately, he's not being selected at all. He's been demoted to playing third division football, which is a bit harsh. But in terms of substitutes, the players that could come on, you've got Morata, who they just signed in the summer, so he had a fantastic campaign for Spain in the Euros. You've got a striker in Noah Okafor. He is a Switzerland international, plays right wing but can play up top as well. He's the former Red Bull Salzburg player, from what I remember. You've got Samuel Chukwueze, who was a Villarreal player, a Nigerian international right winger, a player we were linked to a few years ago as well. So he can definitely cause an issue to coming off the bench. You've got Yunus Musa as well, the former Valencia midfielder. He's a very interesting box-to-box player. You got Luka Jovic as well, Fox in the box type striker. So they've definitely got players that can come off the bench and have an impression on the team. But obviously, in terms of their season, they've not had the best of starts, but because they've got that win, you just have to be very wary of them. So I don't think it will be as much of an open game. So that's why I've not gone for a big score. And we're just coming back from a loss as well. So the spirits aren't going to be as high as it has been previously. And as Steve said, no team on paper wins the game. That is true as well. That is true. Steve says the train crash is coming end of November. We will be mid-table with massive injury crisis. Get ready to see Morton and Does Giles midfield in big games, and then back for Robert Gomez, Kwanzaa, and Bradley. I really hope that's not the case. I don't think we'll have as many injuries as you're predicting, just because the way we play under Arne Slot is a little bit more calmer and composed in comparison to how we play under Klopp. So, look, I really hope this is not the case. I still have faith in Arne Slot. I know some fans have literally just turned over and said he's a fraud. You know, he's been found out. I don't see it. Like, yes, tactically he got a few things wrong over the weekend, but it's a learning curve. You got to take it as well. So even with players, when there'll be games where they don't have great games, but they learn from it. So you've got to give the manager some time. I don't think we'll be mid-table. I think we'll be fine. But yes, obviously, based on what we saw on the weekend, it's not good viewing. But I believe that we will improve going forward. So yeah, it is what it is with regards to that. Bournemouth won't be easy at home. No, it won't be. They've been really good so far this season. The game against Chelsea, they were very unlucky not to get anything from the game. I think they deserved a draw. At the least, in my opinion, they were really good. They just couldn't get the winning goal, unfortunately. So yeah, it was a very attack-minded team there. So yeah, definitely agree with that one. Steve says Jota wasted up front, not a natural striker. Round pegs and square holes only work now and again. I've always liked him more as a left winger than a striker, so I do understand your point there. I do think he can do a job up top, but it's depending on the opposition. But also, I always feel like he's better coming off the bench, because then for him he's just got one goal and has to be direct and be a gunman. If he's starting game, I feel like when you're a starter as a number 9 for a big club, you've got to have a bit more of an all-round game, and I don't think he has that to the highest level. So, I think his finishing is definitely one of the best in the squad. So that's what probably gets him in that position. But yeah, he's not a natural striker. I'll probably agree. But he's a fantastic finisher. So that's why he's in that role right now. You look at our squad in terms of Nunes and Gakpo. Fortunately, they can't touch him in that either. So got no choice but to play him up top. So whether we agree with it or not, he's probably our best striker in the squad. Steve said Arnold's mistake versus Forest. I should have started Endo, Morton, Jones in midfield in a 4-1-4-1. We need fresher legs in midfield. Any subs were wrong. Yeah, going to a back three. Yeah, I agree. The back three one didn't appease me whatsoever. I think he was just trying to gamble and just add an extra body in midfield, but that extra body was Curtis Jones, and he had zero impact on the game altogether. I actually forgot he was even substituted on the pitch until I saw him around the 90th minute. So yeah, got a couple of things wrong, but live and you learn. Steve says this squad and our season is finished come end of Feb. No top 4 finish either. All FSG thought, hey, we can't be too much of a downer right now. I get your point in terms of your frustration, but I think we're going on based off what we saw on the weekend. Look, hopefully that's just one of the rare occasions we have a shocking performance, because it happens. It does happen to teams. So I have a bit more faith, and I'm hoping by February we've actually signed a player in the January window. So who knows? That's wishful thinking, to say the least. But yeah, let's see. Steve says I would play 4-5-1, counter attack them with Nunes, Chiesa, can go pace up top with Jones supporting them. Yeah, I could see that working. I just don't feel like Jones is fit enough to start this game. He looks slightly off the pace, in my opinion. So, and Gakpo and Nunes, I know I've placed Nunes in the team, but I couldn't place both. I just don't feel like neither of them deserve to be in the team. They haven't shown me nothing to suggest that they deserve a start. It's just that I've given Nunes a start because I think Jota needs to be rested. So let's see. Steve says I fully support Arne, the players, FSG. Yeah, maybe right to say that, to be honest with you. Yeah, not the most ambitious owners, to say the least. Robbo, the ghost on the pitch. Time to give Gomez a run at left back. Yeah, he looked exhausted in that fixture against Forest, to say the least. Started the game positive, but then the body was just wearing down a little bit. So no, I agree. That's why I've gone for Simica. I feel like he'll bring natural width, but he'll bring more pace down that left flank, and I think his delivery is underrated as well. So I think he'll definitely suit this fixture. So that's why I've gone for Simicas. But Joe Gomez is a shout as well. Especially if you, I was gonna say if you have a tricky opponent, but they've got Pulisic on that right side, and I don't see him troubling us that much. So I'm happy for Simicas to start. But if Gomez gets the nod ahead of him, I'm not mad at that either. Steve says I prefer Chiesa as the false number 9 over Jota. Can I be honest with you? I do as well. But I'm just waiting for Chiesa to hit the ground running, because he's played that role quite a lot. I think last season for Juventus, he predominantly played as a second striker or as a false 9. So he can definitely do it. And he's so versatile that even when he's playing up top and he's attacking down the channels, he's very effective in terms of what he does. And he's very clinical. He's got a fantastic shot on him. So yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. That might be an unpopular opinion, but I kind of agree with it. I would personally start Chiesa ahead of Jota. But hey, you clip it if you want. That's just my opinion on that issue there. Steve said, I'm not frustrated. I'm a realist. Our season's over. End of this squad. That's a fair enough point. I'm just hoping that's not the case. But yeah, fair enough. Richard says Nunes hasn't done anything this season. No, he's not. He hasn't, Richard. He's done jack all. And I feel wrong for even starting him in this fixture, but I feel like Jota hasn't delivered. If Chiesa for me was just a bit more fit, then I would have started with Chiesa ahead of any of these strikers. So even Gakpo, but Gakpo for me hasn't done anything. He's in the same boat as Nunes, so it's not just me, bashing Nunes because I'm not a fan of his. Gakpo doesn't deserve to start either. He's been just as bad. So it, honestly, it was a flip of a coin who gets it. And I've gone for Nunes just because I feel like his raw speed will have more of an effect to the opposition. So yeah, that's why I've gone for him instead. Steve saying aren't trying to finish top 4 with his 16-man squad, aren't in trouble. Yeah, that's why we had that big debate over the summer to try and reinforce the squad, adding at least a couple more bodies, and I think we would have been fine. But yeah, we didn't. So hopefully we don't get to regret it, and hopefully when it comes to January, we actually add a couple of players as well because it is needed, in my opinion. I don't think we have a complete squad. Numbers wise, I guess we do, but when you have 1 or 2 injuries, that's when you start feeling the impact. So 1 or 2 extra bodies would have been nice over the summer. Steve says Chiesa going to cook at LFC. He's going to take Diaz or Jota position. I'm very intrigued to see what he does, to be honest with you. If I had to choose, I'd rather he play up top. I think Diaz is very impactful in terms of what he does. Jota, like I said earlier on, I know people won't like this, but I like him off the bench. I feel like he's more impactful off the bench rather than starting games. So if Chiesa's hit the ground running and he's playing the way we've seen it over the years, he starts. You've got to start him, right? So you got to fit him in. So for me, he takes Jota's place because I feel like Diaz has been in top form so far this season. But the great thing about Chiesa, if Salah's not on song or Diaz or Jota, even Szoboszlai, any of these 4 players, he can come in and replace these guys. So that's why for me, I was so happy that we signed him. Fans kind of, looked at the theme for, are we getting a player that's washed? Is he, it has been because of his injury records. For me, he had 1 big injury, but he's still managed to attain a lot of games over the years. So it's just an easy narrative to say, oh, he's injury prone, he's not good enough. You haven't watched him enough to suggest that. So played more games than a lot of our players, the likes of Szoboszlai and stuff. So for me, yeah, I can see that happening in the future. If he hits the ground running, yeah, I'd love to see Chiesa up top more so than Jota, Darwin and Gakpo. So yeah, let's see what happens. Steve says, I will start Nunes, Gakpo, Chiesa, Jones, Morton, and AC Milan. Tell them they also start next game to give them confidence. Yeah, but then they might get mugged off and then not start at all on the next fixture. So yeah, got to be transparent with these players as well. Richard says San Siro is a big pitch and we will have space to run. I totally agree with that one there, Richard. We will need to utilize our wingers, which probably favors having the likes of Diaz, who will cause havoc on that left-hand side, and having a player like Darwin Núñez to stretch the defense from a central point of view. So, yeah, that definitely plays a part. Steve, in response to Richard, you are right. When I have a big pitch and we can start fresh players with pace, i.e. Núñez, Gakpo, Chiesa. So, I would love to have started Chiesa, but I think Arsenal's just being a bit more cautious and not, throwing him in the deep end so soon. But I feel like we'll expect to see him. I think he'll get like 20, 30 minutes, in my opinion. So, if he comes on and scores, then, a nice headache to have in terms of the next team selection. So, I'm all for it to seeing Chiesa in this game. But, yeah, I will start him personally. But from what I've heard from Arne Slot, I don't think that's the case. So, let's see. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you for the engagement, as always. Thank you to Richard, Daz, Sideline Football Show, Anfield Uncle Rods. And then you've got Steve as well. Big up yourself, as always, guys. And Nick as well. Can't forget Nick. So if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming shows, I will be doing a live watch along tomorrow. So make sure to tune in for that. It's at 8 p.m. kickoff UK time. So I will be live from 7:50 p.m. and we'll have a look through the lineups together. Let's see out of all of us who's got it the closest. So it'll be interesting to see what team will be playing against AC Milan tomorrow. And yeah, we can watch the game together. And yeah, feel free to drop your comments in the live chat during the game. Yeah, hopefully it's a good performance in the end. So that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.